Behind Adversity. A story based on real life. Joan Navet de Lario. Author. Constancio de Sardi Jr. Illustrator. In a small barrio in the islands of Siargao, there lived a happy family that despite the hard up and impecuniosity, they managed to live a simple but a happy life. Being a barangay police officer, Mang Jose supported and provided the needs of his family and made both ends met through his monthly meager earnings. It was his end of the month pay. So he bid his wife and children goodbye and went to the nearby island to claim his wage. All of a sudden, while sailing along, drastic winds stroked the seas and swept everything that sails thereby. Helpless Mang Jose sank with the other passengers and died. No one had ever seen his dead body since the tragedy occurred. In an instant, Aling Nita became a widow left with 4 children. Since then, she worked hard selling ice candy in the market to provide her family needs. Besides of her love for them, they're the only memory left of her husband. Among her children, the youngest Betty is her favorite. She is the most obedient and helpful child. She does all that she asked her to do. She diligently works around the house. In her age of 7, she is capable of cleaning the house, washing the dishes, and doing other household chores. She is a wise-hearted child. She relieves Aling Nita's loneliness and longing of her late husband. One day, Betty was happily cleaning the kitchen and sweeping the yard. When Aling Nita saw this, she called the little girl. "Betty, I just remember that it's almost your birthday. As a reward of being a good girl, I'm going to buy your favorite doll which you have been longing for," she said. "Don't worry about it, Nay," she answered with a smile and went on with what she was doing. In the morning, the siblings were all busy and meshed preparing for Betty's birthday. The little girl thought that she could have the happiest birthday ever after her father's death. When she was about to leave the house to invite her friends over, someone was knocking loudly and a big voice startled and said, "There's a fire in your neighbor's house." Immediately, they packed up some of their things and had in mind a plan to keep them safe and free. But it was too late, their dwelling was burnt, the fire ate everything there is that stood. All the while, Aling Nita was vulnerable in the unforeseen incident. She did nothing. Instead, she hugged her children and wept. On that day, came a woman who owned a vacant house, invited the homeless family to stay in her abode, which is used to be rented previously by the family who healed in a nearby village. Never thinking her unpaid monthly dues, as Betty was cleaning the house, suddenly she heard an ear-splitting voice, "Are you not ashamed staying in this dwelling without paying the rental?" Just as the woman turned, she immediately saw Aling Nita coming. She confronted her in a very loud voice. "Where is your payment for the house rental? You haven't been paying me for 2 months, the cruel woman screamed. Appalled by an instance, Aling Nita handed the money. But as soon as Aling Nanang got the money, she protested in a harsh voice. "This is not enough. Starting today, you will find a house to dwell on. I don't have any more money except this meager amount intended for our food and the thing that can make my younger daughter happy, which I promised to buy," she humbly replied. Aling Nita sobbed helplessly and immediately kept and packed up their things as soon as Aling Nanang left. She hugged Betty with all her might and shed tears. "My child, please forgive me. I can no longer fulfill my promise, we need to move out in this abode." She caught her breath audibly. "It's okay, Nay. What's important is that we both keep holding on even in the midst of adversity, and I'm glad that you never left us," Betty blurted while she was still hugging her mom. Questions. 1. Describe Betty, Aling Nita, and Aling Nanang. 2. What are the hard UPS they encountered? 3. Did Aling Nita love her family? Why? 4. What's the reason of the unfulfilled promise of Aling Nita? 5. If you were in the shoes of Aling Nanang, would you still do the same as she did? 6. What are the values and traditions that you can get from the story? 7. Why is it entitled as Behind Adversity?